So here's the big question right now. Did the Dallas Cowboys actually get better this offseason? Or did they quietly take a step back while we weren't looking? It's the kind of thing we won't truly know until the games start counting, but there's one way we can start making sense of it today, by talking about the players who can actually move the needle. Now, I'm not just talking about good additions or smart signings. I'm talking about true difference makers, guys who, on their own, can shift the momentum of a game, change how opponents prepare for us, and flat out tilt the field in the Cowboys' favor. Because let's be real, not every new face does that. Some players fill holes, others provide depth, and some just help you stay afloat. But a few can drag the whole team forward with them, and that's who we're zeroing in on today. So before we get into the names, and trust me, I've got 3 of them locked and loaded, I want to set the table. For example, take first-round pick Tyler Booker, great prospect, talented lineman, and drafted with high expectations. But here's the thing, he's stepping in for Zach Martin. And no matter how good Booker might be, you're not really gaining ground when you replace a future Hall of Famer. You're just trying to break even. So as much as I want to be hyped about that pick, and there's plenty to like, it's not exactly a needle mover. That's why today's list is different. These aren't just names. These are the guys I believe could single-handedly elevate this team in 2025. And whether it's an explosive weapon on offense or a critical depth piece that changes how we play defense, each of these players brings something the Cowboys desperately needed. Now, I want to hear from you before we even dive into the names. What's your gut feeling right now? Better or worse than 2024? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's get the conversation started early. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. We're pushing to 14,000 subscribers, and your support helps keep this Cowboys community growing every single day. Plus, if you're ready to break down some serious roster impact, smash that like button and let's get rolling. Ready to meet the first name on the list? Let's get into it. Let's kick things off with the most obvious name on the list, George Pickens. Yeah, I know he wasn't drafted by the Cowboys and he didn't just fall out of the sky, but his arrival changes everything. With Brandon Cooks gone, the Cowboys needed a real answer at WR2. And not just a placeholder or a reliable route runner, they needed someone who could strike fear into defenses. Pickens brings exactly that. Look, Brandon Cooks had his moments, sure, but let's not pretend he ever fully clicked with Dak Prescott. It was one of those pairings that sounded better on paper than it looked on the field. He was past his prime and never really found that rhythm in this offense. Now enter George. Pickens, young, hungry, and already more dynamic than Cooks at this point in their careers. The upgrade is real. What makes Pickens so dangerous is that he thrives in ISO situations. One-on-one coverage, he lives for it. Contested catches, he'll come down with them more often than not. He's not just a guy who'll run his route and hope for a window. He creates windows, and he demands attention from defenses. That's going to have a domino effect on the entire offense, especially on how teams try to cover CeeDee Lamb. Think about it. Defensive coordinators now have to pick their poison. You can't double both Lamb and Pickens without leaving yourself vulnerable elsewhere. That means more space, more mismatches, and more opportunities for Dak to take advantage. And in an offense that struggled to be consistently explosive, that's a massive shift. This isn't just about WR2 production, it's about unlocking the full potential of the passing game. And hey, let's do a quick pulse check. Do you believe George Pickens will have more receiving yards than Cooks did last season? Simple yes or no in the comments. Let's see where the fan base stands on this one. I'll tell you right now, I'm betting yes, and I think it won't even be close. While you're dropping your vote, don't forget, if you're enjoying this breakdown and want more like it all season long, hit that subscribe button and help us hit our goal of 14,000 subscribers. It takes 2 seconds, and it makes a huge difference for the channel. And yeah, give that like button some love too. It tells YouTube you're loving Cowboys content. Now, if you thought Pickens was an exciting addition, wait until you hear about the next guy, because we're going from explosive through the air to explosive on the ground. Let's talk about a rookie who might just surprise everyone. All right? Let's talk about a name that might raise some eyebrows. Jaden Blue. Yeah, I get it. He's a 5th-round rookie. Not exactly the kind of profile you expect to move the needle for a franchise like the Dallas Cowboys. But hear me out, because Jaden Blue isn't just any rookie. He might be the injection of explosiveness this offense has been missing for years. Let's rewind for a second. When was the last time the Cowboys had a true home run hitter in the backfield? A guy who could take a handoff, hit the edge, and be gone in a flash. It's been a while, right? Blue has that kind of burst. At Texas, he was a big play magnet. Every time he touched the ball, there was a chance he'd take it the distance. Speed, acceleration, vision, he checks those boxes. That doesn't mean he's a finished product, but it does mean he brings something that's been sorely lacking. Now, is he going to beat out Rico Dowdle for the starting job right away? Probably not. Dowdle's proven he can be efficient and dependable when given the chance. But that's not the point. The point is what Jaden Blue adds to the equation. Even if he's not the every down back, his ability to flip the field can change games. He doesn't need 20 carries to make an impact. Sometimes one touch is all it takes. There are still question marks, of course. Durability, size. Can he handle the pounding that comes with being an NFL running back week in and week out? Those are fair concerns. But if the Cowboys can manage his reps and put him in the right situations, he can become that spark plug. The guy who suddenly takes a draw on 3rd and 12 and turns it into a 50-yard gain. We haven't had that kind of electricity in a while. And look, I'm not saying he's going to be RB1 from day one, but I am saying that if he gets on the field enough, he's going to make defensive coordinators nervous. He's that kind of player. Don't be shocked if he starts the season as a change of pace option and ends it as one of the Cowboys' most exciting weapons. Let me throw this one at you. Do you think Jaden Blue will break at least one 50-plus yard touchdown this season? Drop your answer in the comments. Yes or no, and bonus points if you want to guess which team he'll do it against. Let's see who's really paying attention. And hey, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 14,000 subscribers, and you being here with us makes a big difference. Smash that like button too. It helps keep Cowboys Nation growing right here on YouTube. Coming up next, we're shifting to the defensive side of the ball. You probably already know who's starting, but wait until you hear how one under-the-radar addition could change the rotation and maybe the outcome of a few games. All right, now let's talk about a name you probably didn't expect to hear when thinking about difference makers for 2025, Solomon Thomas. I know what you're thinking. Backup defensive tackle? Really? But yeah, really. Because sometimes the pieces that move the needle the most aren't the flashy starters, but the guys who make everything else around them better. And Thomas could be exactly that for this Cowboys defense. Let's break it down. The Cowboys already have a solid starter at 3 technique in Osa Odigizua. No question about that. But the problem last season, and really in recent years, has been what happens when Osa comes off the field. The drop-off in production at defensive tackle has been steep, and that matters, especially late in games when your big guys are gassed and you're relying on depth to hold the line. Enter Solomon Thomas. He's not just some camp body or veteran filler. He's a former first-rounder who has quietly carved out a role as a high-motor, disruptive interior player. He's not coming in to steal Osa's job. He's coming in to keep Osa fresh. And that's a huge deal. Because a fresher Osa late in the 4th quarter? That could be the difference between a sack on 3rd down or a busted play that turns into a game winner for the other team. And don't sleep on Thomas himself. As a rotational guy, he brings experience and consistency. He can penetrate, he can anchor against the run, and he plays with energy every snap. Think about it this way. Instead of just hoping your backup DT can hold his ground, now you've got someone who can actually create pressure and force mistakes. That's not just nice to have. That's the kind of upgrade that can win you games in January. Now sure, The Cowboys still have a need at nose tackle. That's a valid concern. But when it comes to the 3-tech spot, with Thomas behind Osa, that's probably the best depth the Cowboys have had at that position in years. And when the playoffs roll around and the margin for error shrinks to a sliver, that kind of depth matters more than you think. Let me ask you this. Do you think Solomon Thomas will finish the season with more sacks than any other Cowboys backup defensive tackle? Yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments, and let's see who's buying into this move like I am. And if you're still watching, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button so we can keep building this Cowboys community, and smash the like button if you're feeling better about our defensive line rotation heading into 2025. Coming up, we're pulling it all together. What does the impact of Pickens, Blue, and Thomas really mean for the Cowboys in 2025? And are we actually looking at a team that's improved overall despite the big names they lost? Let's break it all down. All right, so let's bring this all together. You've got George Pickens, a true WR1 talent slotted into the WR2 role. Someone who's going to demand attention on every snap and open things up for CeeDee Lamb and the rest of the offense. You've got Jaden Blue, a 5th-round rookie with real home run ability who could finally give this team the explosive run game it's been missing for years. And you've got Solomon Thomas, a veteran rotational defensive tackle who adds much-needed depth behind Osa Odigizua and keeps this front fresh and dangerous deep into games. Individually, these guys might not sound like season changers at first glance, but when you look at the roles they'll play, they each bring something that's been missing, something that can tilt the field in the Cowboys' favor. Whether it's Pickens adding firepower to the pass game, Blue giving us a shot at breakaway runs, or Thomas shoring up a D-line that's run out of gas too many times before, these aren't just upgrades, they're potential difference makers. And I know it's tough to say right now, in the middle of the offseason, if this team got better or worse. The Cowboys lost some proven vets, and they didn't exactly make a splash in free agency, but sometimes it's not about the headline moves. It's about the right pieces coming together at the right time. So now I'm throwing it to you. Which of these 3 do you think will have the biggest impact in 2025? Drop it in the comments, Pickens, Blue, or Thomas. And if there's someone else you believe deserves to be in this conversation, let me know. Who's your pick for the one Cowboy that could single-handedly change the game this year? Before you go, don't forget, hit that subscribe button and help us hit our goal of 14,000 subscribers. We're building something special here at Cowboys News TV, and every single like, sub, and comment keeps this community growing. I'll catch you in the next one. Let's go, Cowboys!